All right, for more on this, let's bring in Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt. Senator, good to see you. Again, I look at this news cycle, and it has moved so quickly. It's like every week feels like a lifetime in political news. But the fact that Donald Trump's assassination attempt has been pushed off the pages, mostly by the liberal press, it seems to be long forgotten. And here you now have a new Democrat candidate who refuses to talk about any of our policies to fix the problems that we face. Where do you see the race right now? What issues are going to drive voters? Who's up? Who's down? How do you assess where we're at?
Well, it's clearly unprecedented. No major party in our political lifetime has installed a candidate without ever receiving any votes. It's perhaps the most undemocratic process we've ever seen. But the Democrats are obsessed with power and control. This isn't Tip O'Neill talking to Ronald Reagan about marginal tax rates. They want to end the filibuster, pack the court, add D.C. To the union, federalize elections, convert 10 million illegal immigrants into voters. They're playing for keeps. And so it's really no surprise that they've done what they've done. So we're at where we're at right now. But I do think this race ultimately, especially after Labor Day, guys, gets back to where the race was always going to be. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And Kamala Harris has her fingerprints on all the destruction that we've seen, whether it's at the border, as the border czar. She voted against Title 42 when she was in the Senate, and she was the border czar and has done nothing to quell, again, the invasion that we've seen on our southern border. As relates to inflation, she was the tie-breaking vote. Not only did she support as a senator the Green New Deal, she was the tie-breaking vote as vice president for the Inflation Reduction Act and the American Recovery Act, adding about $2.4 trillion in spending, right? That ties directly back to Kamala Harris. So all the issues that working class families are feeling, whether it's inflation, illegal immigration, all those issues at the top of mind, she's all over it, right? And she's on the wrong side of it. So I think President Trump still has an incredible story to tell. They've come after him every which way. He's survived. And I still think, even though it feels like a lifetime ago, that iconic image of him saying fight, fight, fight with the American flag behind him, that along with people's personal economic futures on the line, that President Trump becomes the 47th president of the United States.
I just look at this as an issue, speaking of the assassination attempt on President Trump's life, of how much the government sucks when it's run by somebody like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, that they could not protect his life. And based on what we know, they made no effort to protect that man's life at that rally. And
well, it's why these investigations.
That's where the rubber meets the road here. And they don't want, and I'm going to just move on to this, and you can answer either one. They also don't want the people who put their lives on the line in the military protecting us either, because Kamala Harris has no problem spending taxpayer dollars, borrowed dollars, except when it comes to our national defense. Back in 2020, she said, quote, "I unequivocally agree with the goal of reducing the defense budget and redirecting funding to communities in need." But like all of her other policies, we have no clue where she stands right now. And in fact, they have damaged the Defense Department because our interest on the national debt now swamps our defense budget. $1 trillion versus $850 billion. Also, Harris and Biden only wanted to raise the defense budget 1% for the next fiscal year. That's not even keeping up with inflation. They want to make us less safe. They want people harmed, whether it's Trump or the rest of us.
That's right. And look, she's for abolishing ICE, defunding the police, and reducing spending on our military. Serving on the Armed Services Committee, it is a fundamental miscalculation to believe that our adversaries are going to sit back and do nothing about this. China is moving. They're in space. They're building islands in the South China Sea. We have to recognize that threat. They have a bigger Navy than we have, not a better Navy. She's also, by the way, been a driving force behind this DEI initiative, which has no place in our military. It's the ultimate meritocracy, and you're seeing recruiting suffer, particularly in the Navy, 20-30% down in recruiting. You can tie that directly to the idea of dividing up the room by oppressor and oppressed. It's the greatest meritocracy in the history of the world. Anybody can have a ticker tape parade, regardless of where they come from. We need to celebrate that in our military, not divide people. So, again, her record is very, very clear. This is not someone who's just burst onto the scene and nobody knows. As much as she's trying to recast herself, and the media allies are helping her do that, this race, ultimately, when it comes into focus in the fall, will be about how people feel about where they were when President Trump was president. We had a secure border, there were no wars overseas, and people were doing better economically, versus all that stuff gone now under the Harris administration. So that's where this, I think the state of the race will ultimately be, even though they're trying to, again, put her on magazine covers. Even though she refuses to do the puff piece interview with Time magazine, they still had her on the cover.
Right. It's a dangerous time to reduce spending for the military and a dangerous time to have Kamala Harris in a leadership position. Senator Eric Schmitt, thanks for being with us. We always appreciate it.
Anytime.